Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Steve Cabral, board certified doctor of naturopathy, and I'm joined here with our new director of IHP Success and business growth advisor, Kate Mills. I can't wait to get into Kate's story and her background as an IHP in the health and fitness-based arena before that, how she's worked in affiliate marketing, creative-based marketing, email, and so much more, and which she's going to be bringing to IHP. But also just to let you know that the amazing Julia Hayes will actually be stepping to the side on our Thursday podcast after many years now of bringing you one-on-one interviews with IHP community members and all sorts of influencers in the health-based space. I want to thank Julia for all of her work. She's still going to be an amazing part of the team, but Kate will be coming on now as your Thursday host of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. So without further ado, Kate, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
It's great to have you. I know you bring a wealth of experience. And one of the things that we're committed to in 2024 is being able to help more IHPs and health coaches in general, whether you're a personal trainer, you're a chiropractor, acupuncturist, nurse, et cetera. We want to be able to help you become more successful in your own practice. That's really what it's all about, because this is how we see it. We are on a mission to be able to change the lives of 10 million people a year. And the way we came up with that number is actually pretty straightforward. And we're just looking at saying, how can we help 10,000 practitioners? And all we need to do is add 3 more zeros to that, right? Help about 1,000 people or so per year. And so the way that we're able to do that is we can affect change by us and our company. Okay, that's great, but we can never reach 10 million people. That's a lot. But if we're able to better help IHPs and other health coaches to build their practice, they get to be the ones that make that change, not only in their life, but in the lives of their community and around the world. And I truly believe that the information that you're going to be sharing as well is going to help them get that much closer to that. So the big announcement is that you're going to be coming on. You're already on board now full-time as our director of IHP Success and business growth advisor. We'll talk about what that means, all the great things that are coming for our IHP-based coaches. But before we do, it's very important that we always know someone's background as to how they would be able to help and relate to the IHP community. So if you could share your background in health and fitness and how you kind of come up to be now being in this position, that would be appreciated.
Absolutely. So my past is very interesting because I bring to IHP not just my own health history and how IHP and your protocols and your education changed my life, but also the business side of working with wellness businesses and wellness influencers. And so I've been on a wellness journey since I was 8 years old, and I have struggled through so many different things, so many different conditions and Lyme disease and parasites and mold and so many different layers of it. And in that time, I spent most of my time learning and educating myself, but there was always something missing. And then I would find these really unique solutions to my problems. For instance, when I was 15, I went cold turkey off of gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, cleaned up my diet 100% in one day, and I would still not be able to read or see, and I would have debilitating headaches. And so I had to drop out of high school, and I ended up having to graduate high school from an exercise bike because it was the only way I could get oxygen and nutrients to my brain. And so when I did that, I ended up by the age of 18 becoming a professional cyclist. And so I spent the next few years of my life racing and training with the best in the world, studying sports and performance nutrition and how that all tied together with health. Because at that time, I was still struggling with my own health. I still had Lyme disease. I still had headaches. I still had all these things. So I was utilizing all the data and all of the really interesting performance markers of a cyclist, someone who was riding 3 to 5 hours a day. And it actually threw me into worse health problems. And this is something that I became really passionate about because I realized that even though athletes are exercising and training and trying to fuel themselves well, they are actually some of the sickest people because they're feeding themselves with 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day of carbohydrates, and they're overfed and undernourished. And so it allowed me to kind of start understanding the whole picture of health in a way that I probably wouldn't have figured out if I didn't become an athlete. Yeah. And I went through this period where if I would take a day off the bike, it would feel like I was being poisoned and I didn't understand. So an off day was the worst day for me. And what ended up happening is I took a week or so off, and all of a sudden I lost the ability to feel my legs. And I went through this crazy period, and I ended up going through Lyme treatment, and it all came back to the fact that I was so toxic and I had all these underlying root causes that I wasn't aware of. And fast forward a few years, I was really, really sick, and I was trying to chip away at all these different things, but I wasn't getting better. I was going downhill every single day until I found some pieces of healing technology that completely changed my life. And so those things took me from bedridden to functioning at the highest level possible. And so that was really where my journey changed, to optimizing my health and starting to chip away at those root causes. And so maybe 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, I found IHP, and that was so life-changing for me because I'd been studying pretty much my entire life. I'd read every book I can get my hands on, and I still hadn't found the missing puzzle pieces. And IHP is what allowed me to do that. I went through the Detox. I went through pretty much every one of the IHP protocols, the de-stress protocol, and I've experienced a level of health that I never, ever thought possible for me. And so I'm now functioning at a level. I have no pain. All my symptoms are gone because I go through the detox. I've taken myself through, the foundations, and it allowed me to move to a place where I felt really confident that I could help other people. And so that kind of moved me into the health coaching space. But during this whole time, when I was 18, I actually started my first company. And I ran that for 10 to 12 years. And I learned everything there is to know about becoming an entrepreneur: sales, marketing, operations, pretty much every layer of it, because I ran it as an entrepreneur for 10 to 12 years. And when we kind of sold that business 6+ years ago, I realized I need to combine all the knowledge that I gained from running this business my entire life with my health knowledge and every bit of my experience and what I learned. I needed to combine that to be able to move forward with my mission of wanting to heal the world and change the health of generations. And when I found IHP, it was kind of the perfect tie-in because you guys share the same mission with me. I believe I share that same mission. Is I want to help heal 10 million people and change generational health. And using those skills, I was able to develop my own very successful coaching practice, both in health, but also in business. So I started teaching, wellness clients how to optimize their health and get well from a lot of really difficult long-term conditions. I kind of specialized in people who had been sick a long time, just like me, and helping them overcome their root causes by utilizing functional medicine testing and the de-stress protocol. And so I started to build businesses. I started to work with influencers to help them build their businesses, both on the back end, but also on the front end with marketing, funnels, email marketing, affiliate marketing, all that fun stuff. And I started to work with an agency that also worked with influencers and other wellness businesses to build their online courses and their websites and pretty much every aspect of digital marketing in the wellness world so that I could make that impact even bigger. So coming to IHP is kind of a dream thing for me because it allows me to combine my two greatest passions and what my entire life experience is, brought together of wellness and business.
It's amazing. I actually never knew. I knew obviously that you were a professional cyclist. I knew that you had Lyme disease. I didn't know that you weren't able to graduate from high school except for the fact that you had to be on an exercise bike. That's actually super interesting. And I get it, from an oxygenation, standpoint, basically making yourself more hypoxic to then drive more oxygen into the actual cells themselves and the brain. So that's super fascinating. You obviously, you've gone through your own health struggles, which in my opinion, it's not a prerequisite for being a health coach, but it does enable you in a way to empathize with others to a greater degree. And I found that it forces people, especially when you get these things as in your teens and 20s, to grow up faster because you understand a lot of the hardships of life at a younger age. At least that's how it was for me. I mean, I love life. I'm very grateful for life. I'm not an old curmudgeon-y, individual, but I also have the perspective of someone who almost lost their life. And so, you have this, because in a sense you do, you lose your life. You lost the life that you had before. So I was, when my senior year in high school, I was no longer the National Honor Society kid. I was no longer the athlete. I was no longer the energetic one. I was like, I lost all of that. And so it's very humbling. And it allows you then, though, to figure out who you really are and who you want to be. So I love, hearing that part of the story. And it's very interesting too, because I've always recommended this, and I know you recommend the same, that when you're trying to choose your niche, when in doubt, help people like you, because who knows people like you better than you? And so it's so natural. It's an easy way to start. And then from there, you can branch out. You can do whatever you want in any niche that you want, because it's not like you don't have knowledge in other niches, but it helps get you started. And I like that, that's what you did. Now you decided to work with the hardest and most challenging people, but it's still a niche. It's still a place to be in and a place to get started. So I love hearing that part of the story. I think a lot of our IHPs or our Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast community can relate to it. But you go from being successful as a health coach as well, and in the fitness arena, to then moving into the marketing and business side and helping companies that even weren't necessarily health and fitness based. Where did the love for marketing and for direct response advertising, those things, like where did that love come from?
Yeah, that's a funny question, because I am ridiculously passionate about it. Actually, email marketing, I just love, you could hear it in my voice. So when I sold my first business, that business was built without a lot of direct response marketing. We worked with, 16 national teams and on the biggest pro teams in the country. And it was an incredible, amazing company that I'm so proud of everything.
If you don't mind me asking, what type of company was that? Because I know people will have questions.
Yeah, so it was a custom sports clothing company. So we made really high-end custom uniforms for athletes, specifically cyclists and triathletes. So the high-end tight cycling gear that they wear for training. But we were really unique. It was all 100% US made in our factory in Orange County, California. It was made of the solar panels and eco fabrics, and it was all fully custom. So it was pretty much the most difficult, complicated business you can imagine. And we ran sales, marketing, production, shipping, everything in-house. We didn't use outside companies. And so it was incredibly complex, which is what I grew up with, because my family started this business before I was born. And when I turned 18, they said, "Hey, do you want to create your own department of it and run it as an entrepreneur?" And I said, "Absolutely." Because I was a cyclist and no one was making amazing stuff for women. And I was like, I'm going all in on creating a women's line. I got in the number one women's pro team within a year, and it just blew up from there. And so my history and where I started was not in the marketing world at all. It was going to trade shows. It was going to cycling events. It was doing more in-person stuff. So I learned the value of connection and partnerships and that whole side of things, as well as operations. But then when we sold it, right before we sold it, I had created a affiliate program of 850 people worldwide for our company. I created this massive program kind of back when affiliate marketing was really starting. And I created this incredible program that was so powerful, and it created such a powerful side to our brand that didn't exist before. And so when we sold this business, I decided, okay, I want to dive in to learn more. I didn't know what my next step was going to be at that point, because I had been sick for so long. I honestly thought that I was going to run that company for the rest of my life. And instead we decided to sell it. And so I thought, okay, I don't know what's next. And so what I usually do, and this is what happened when I was, on the exercise bike in high school, is I had always been an athlete. I was a world-class soccer player my entire life. And I was forced to quit when I got really sick. But my whole thing was, okay, I'm riding this stationary bike 3 to 4 hours a day so I could read my books. I'm getting really fit doing this. And I didn't know why. I knew there was a reason, and I knew that I wanted to become an athlete in the future, but I didn't know what it was for. And it turned out I just got really fit on the bike, and my dad bought me a bike, and I jumped on the bike. And within 6 months, I had won all my races and become a pro. So it was the same thing when I sold this first business. Was I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I needed to build my skills so that I could knock out of the park anything that I started. Yeah. And that's what happened. I watched hundreds of online courses about every single layer of digital marketing and website building and pretty much everything you could imagine so that I could combine my skills and fill skill gaps. So when I was ready to dive headfirst into a new company or brand, I had all the skills to implement everything myself so that I wasn't lacking confidence, because lack of confidence is one of the things that kind of holds people back from taking action. And I am 100% an implementer and action taker, and I didn't want any of those skill gaps. So I started to dive into that. I started to play around with different types of businesses, drop shipping businesses, really interesting affiliate marketing things. I played with a lot of different stuff, e-com brands, and I learned every different type of business you could run. And I just found the areas that I was super passionate about and how it all works together, which is the fun part. And what I call kind of funnels is understanding how funnels can be used and how powerful email marketing is and building your community. And so when I understood how those all fit together, I realized, okay, I can implement this in any business I ever want to create moving forward, or anyone else's business, because these are very powerful skills in today's day and age, and everything's changing all the time. And I love staying up to date on new strategies, new technology, with AI that's come out. It's such a great way to speed things up and to, you always I always want to kind of stay on the front end of that.
Yeah. So I find this super fascinating. The reason is that I just try to correlate everything back to how does this help an individual who wants to make health coaching their career, and not only their career, but actually enjoy their work. And it's funny because we teach IHP mastery, and the last module is about overcoming the imposter syndrome. And one of the things that I found is just, as they say, putting in the work and putting in the hours and putting in the reps. Because as you showed, you weren't trying to become a professional cyclist. Not at first, but you cycled 3 to 4 hours a day. I mean, how can you not be great at something if you do it for 3 to 4 hours a day, every day for a year or more? So it's like, if you're trying to become successful in anything, now you might not have 3 to 4 hours a day right now. I understand that. But if you have an hour, which was what we recommend, 30 minutes in the morning or so, 30 minutes before bed, end cap your day, an hour a day, I mean, that's going to move you in the direction of where you want to be. And I always say the more things that you tried, and you tried a lot, eventually you can't help but be successful. Meaning, like, you can mess up over and over and over, but if you're willing to learn from it and not give up, you can't help but not be successful. Like that's, and I'm not saying that you messed up and then became successful, but we all grow that way. And it's a really good point, is that you moved from industry to industry and could become successful by drawing upon past experience. So we have personal trainers and nutritionists, dietitians, nurses, stay-at-home moms. We've got other health coaches from different organizations, and you can draw upon what you were successful on before and use that to then be confident and move forward as a health coach with the understanding that you're going to get better each and every year. So I love to hear that. What I want to move next to, though, because you mentioned it a few times, is basically email marketing. But even maybe more so, it's not about just email marketing, I don't think, because we've had many conversations. It's really about building your community or your followers or your base so that you can keep in touch with them. That's what you call the top of the funnel. Could you take everybody through that, what that means? Because I think when people start to understand this, they'll realize that, oh, whenever I need more clients, I just do a post. I just send out an email. Because I have a base of people that are listening, that are engaged. So, please do share that next level.
Yeah. So building a community is really important. And I always recommend, if you're a new health coach or you haven't even become certified yet, to start building your community, whether that's online or offline or both. Because when you're ready and you have something to offer them, you have someone to offer it to. And so there's two layers. There's the front of funnel and kind of the back of funnel. The front of funnel is the marketing. It's the social media. It's how you bring people into your email list and your funnels and to have one-on-one conversations with you. And so it's really important to understand the different places that you can create a front of your funnel. And then once you've done that, and that's where a lot of new health coaches want to start, is starting to create that front of funnel, because you don't need the email sequences. You don't need all that to get your first clients, to your first 10, 20 clients. That's not required. This stuff is kind of the icing on the cake once you have the community and you have people funneling in and scheduling your free 15-minute calls. And once you have those people, I'm going to be teaching entire programs on how to turn those followers and that community into lifetime fans and clients who are going to work with you and refer you for the rest of your life. So I always talk to people about how important the community is, because if you build these relationships with people, if you have DM conversations, if you get them on a 15-minute call, you are going to turn them into a lifetime customer, because you've put in the time and effort and you're providing them value. When you provide them value, you'll become the authority in their eyes, and they will come back to you when they have any questions on health and wellness, and you'll become top of mind. So again, community is a really, really important part of everything that I'm going to be teaching inside IHP and on the podcast.
It's just the communication strategy, right? And so it's a podcast is just one way to communicate. Doing a video over social is another way. Doing a post on social, writing an ebook, like any of these things. These are just ways to communicate, to share your experience, and also to build value. People will follow along with your journey and your ride if you provide them with some type of value. Now, sometimes it's just entertainment, right? Now, health coaches aren't there to entertain. It's not what we do, but we follow people because they're either teaching us something, we aspire to be like them, or they entertain us. So, for health coaches, we're often in the teaching and we're in maybe the inspiration category, because they want to, I see, Kate doing her sauna again. I see Kate doing her red light. Oh, I see Kate exercising. Like, yeah, I'm not doing those things, but I want to do more of what Kate's doing. And so I follow her and I kind of live vicariously through her, knowing and hoping that one day I'm going to be more like Kate. That's what your clients are going to see when you put these things out there. And too many IHPs are they're worried about having to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And people love the little flaws. Like when I show my home gym, I show my daughter's gymnastics stuff all over my floor, or they're like big wheels Jeep. Or then I talk about like, I'm the only one in my family who re-racks my own weights, or re-racks weights. Everybody else leaves the gym a mess. So it's like, you can joke around, you can have a good time, and be a real person. And I need to get better at that. Like for sure, like those are one of the things that I'm working on, but you don't have to be perfect in order to get started. And that's what I love, really about your teaching, and what you're going to bring. So if you don't mind, and you're welcome to talk about some other experiences as well, I would love to share the first things that you're going to be bringing to our community, because there's a lot of advanced things that people can do, like advanced affiliate marketing and advanced, ambassador. And some people are already ambassadors, which is great. And you'll help them take that to the next level. But what's the best? We're health coaches, we're health practitioners, integrative health practitioners. How do we start getting more clients? And how do we start maybe with a group or a functional medicine detox? Take us through how you're going to help the community get more clients that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the next couple months, the way that I kind of wanted to roll into this position was really to help the most amount of people start getting more clients faster. And when you go back to my entire story, my whole mission here is to help you save time, money, and pain. And that is utilizing my experience to help you with that roadmap. And in the last couple of years, I've supported over 3,000 people through the functional medicine detox, the Dr. Overall Detox. And I believe to my core that it is one of the absolute best entry points to helping you fill your one-on-one coaching business, because it gives people quick wins and it turns you into the authority in their eyes. If you are the one who recommends something to them that changes their life, that is a unique solution to a problem that they maybe have had for 10 years. And all of a sudden, they've tried everything else, but all of a sudden you get them to do this detox and they experience transformation quickly, which we know that they're going to, because I've taken 3,000 people through this and I've had the most unbelievable results for pretty much all of them. And so when you do that and you become the authority and you give them that win, you become the person they go back to when they are ready to work with coaches or a coach and they're looking for someone to help them gain more energy, sleep better, whatever their end goal, they will come to you as that resource. And so I'm putting together this incredible program that is pretty much sharing all of my experience and the roadmap that I used to support those 3,000 people, fill that detox group, help turn them into lifetime customers where they then moved on to the next protocol or testing. And I'm teaching you how to do all of that because I think the important thing for people to understand is that the detox is just the entry point, but you still need to support those people and move them along this roadmap so that they become one-on-one clients, but that they also are going to take other recommendations from you because not everyone's ready to invest in one-on-one coaching. So how can you still support them? And so I'm going to teach you pretty much my entire framework for how I made this hugely successful in the past. So that's going to be the first program.
What does that look like? So inside of the detox program, so by the way, everybody, Kate's creating this completely free. So this is not something that IHP wants to charge for, although it's a lot of time, and effort on Kate's part and also the team putting it together. What we want and what we're dedicated to, and we talked about this at the Reimagining Health Summit, is we're dedicating to making you successful this year. So yes, get your IHP level 1, level 2 certification if you haven't already. You can look towards mastery, BME, HPH in the future. We want that. We want you to continue in your education, but we also want you to start building your practice and helping people. And you know that we put you up on the IHP Practitioner page. So integrativehealthpractitioner.org/practitioners. And we don't take any percentage. That's all yours. Our goal is to make you more successful. And the reason is then we all win. Our big picture win is we get to help those 10 million people. And that's on a annual basis that we look at. But on an annual basis, you need to start with, getting these first few clients. So this is going to be completely free. Kate, if you could share what's going to be inside of that detox, and what are you calling it? A course, a workshop? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's going to be inside your Kajabi account or inside your IHP membership account. And it's going to be about 12 to 14 individual videos that walks you step by step through, deciding if you're going to run a group. It walks you through how to actually create the group, how to promote and sell the detoxes on social media through email, how to support people through their detox, how to prepare them for it, how to help them maximize their experience, and how to support them afterward on that roadmap that I talked about. It shows you and walks you through how to utilize testimonials, because testimonials are going to be your best friend moving forward in your health coaching. And it goes really in depth into a lot of different topics. That's pretty much everything that I believe can help you be the most successful here. So again, it's like 12 to 14 individual videos that are going to have kind of a bunch of calls to action underneath. And if you go step by step through them and you follow the steps, you can start to sell detoxes and bring people into those funnels pretty quickly. And you can utilize this year round. It'll be available for you inside your account. That's
amazing. Yeah. I mean, people are going to absolutely benefit from this. And the big thing and why I was on board with it is that it's the number one place to start. And the functional medicine detox by Equilife is something we've used. You've already taken 3,000 people through it. We have hundreds of thousands of people that have gone through it. And it's a catalyst. So it opens up the detox pathways, helps with the kidneys, the liver, the lymphatic system, drainage-based pathways. But also, what it's doing is it's teaching people very subtly about meal timing, about intermittent fasting, about clean foods and not so clean foods, balancing inflammation, like really working on all of these things that will make your job as a health coach that much easier. But as Kate said, you're going to get some wins, some quick wins, and then they're going to be more open to what you may recommend next. So the functional medicine detox by Equilife is not the cure-all. It's the starting point, and it will make every protocol you do after that then that much better. it just makes it that much easier for the body to accept that, to be able to use the different antimicrobials, biofilm disruptors, et cetera. So it is the place to start. I've always started there in my practice, not always, but since about 2011, right around then is when I did my first functional medicine detox myself, from a true functional medicine perspective. Back then it was like 11 or 12 different products, and it worked. I thought it was amazing. And I started using it with my hardest to treat, and I'm putting treat in air quotes, clients. And that was autoimmune based conditions and other chronic based issues. And it was phenomenal. I did 21 days. So Kate will talk about 7, 14, 21 day programs. And it was life-changing for those individuals. In 21 days, they saw a marked improvement in almost all factors for health and wellness. So after that, fringe benefit is people would lose like 7 to 10 pounds in 21 days. And it's inflammation, inflammatory, water retention, some body fat, et cetera. And they'd say, what do I do next? Because I want to keep the results coming. And that's where you step in then as a health coach. It is the non-sale way to build your career. And that's the best way, by giving people results up front. So that's what we're looking forward to being able to share right away. Time-wise, when does that begin to debut? We won't hold you to the exact date, but what are you thinking time-wise?
So that's going to be about beginning of December. Okay. But we're going to be rolling out a couple things earlier than that, just to kind of help you, get your ideas flowing. So, but the primary program is going to launch early December.
All right, excellent. So I want people, especially IHPs, to make sure that they're tuning into the emails. Kate will be sending out email notices on when these come out. Make sure that you are inside of the IHP Facebook group. So the general IHP group, so that you're able to get the announcements and the login, because you'll be able to log in with your IHP base account for this information. And then, of course, we're always providing support inside of those groups as well. So stay tuned for those. Kate is also going to be doing the Thursday podcasts. So the Thursday podcasts, now you'll be hearing announcements each and every week for what to look for, what's debuting. Kate's going to do some solo shows on Thursdays. And she's also going to be continuing with the interviews, kind of picking up where Julia did such a great job with those one-on-one interviews, because we're going to continue to talk about and highlight a lot of these successful IHPs. Some of them you know about, some of them you don't. And it's going to start to hopefully get you to believe, hey, you can do this too. So many people started from different industries, not even the health industry. And now they're creating thriving coaching careers. So one more thing that I wanted to talk about, some people already know this, is that you were co-faculty last year for the business mentorship experience. And I think some of our IHPs know that only debuts once a year, just like IHP Mastery. And it's going to be opening again this Thanksgiving week, at least in the US. So that's right around November 20th this year. And this is an opportunity actually to start a business from wherever you are right now. Some people have already started. Some people have a few clients. Some have none. It's going to take you A to Z, literally through social media, email, marketing, website design, your avatar, your scheduling, automations, all that good stuff. And what Kate did last year, especially if you weren't a part of this, added double the content. So you get now 2x the content. And Kate and I are actually co-faculty on BME. And so you get a workshop essentially twice a month where you get one-on-one actual coaching on these workshops. It's part of the group, but we keep these groups small so you get your questions answered twice a month live. Plus you get the IHP Facebook group. So I'm always excited about this. I mean, I love being able to debut Mastery and BME, 2 separate courses, of course, certifications, once a year, but it's a 6-month follow along. By the time you're done with it, you have a set up and done for you business, which I think it's where a lot of coaches are maybe procrastinating a little bit. And this could be the catalyst they need to make 2024 their year. You teach it from a different perspective. I would love to hear your thoughts on that and BME for this year.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about BME again. Last year was a really incredible experience, and I still am really well connected to a lot of the BME students from last year. And it's wonderful seeing kind of where they've taken their business, because when when I joined, I knew this was a really powerful foundational program to get the foundations of your business built. So you're creating a really strong foundation for your business that's going to set you up for success. And when you are starting to work more on social and you're starting to talk to more people in person, you're going to be very confident in sending them to your website, because they're going to, you're going to have your offers broken down. You're going to have your free call funnels. You're going to have all of that kind of set up. And so when I joined last year, I wanted to bring more of my kind of digital marketing flair to it, which is teaching you more about how to implement email marketing and create ebooks and maximize the messaging and go even deeper into understanding what's going on in the heads of your customers. Because when you're diving headfirst into social media, you want your social media posts to convert. So, we talk about how to make every piece of content you put out there have more impact and drive more traffic, either to your free calls, into your DMs. Like, we really go deep into the strategy, but also the implementation. So by the end of it, you're going to have a full strategy. You're going to have a full, back-end system and the full understanding of how it all ties together and how to really fill your coaching business. So that was really my goal in coming in, was to add a little bit more of, my sweet sauce, which is the ebooks, the webinars, the email marketing, the affiliate marketing, because affiliate marketing is something I'm really passionate about. Because if you're going to be recommending things to people anyway, you might as well make it another income stream for your business. So I'm super excited about it. I love the live workshops. I had so much fun. I had so much energy afterward, because they just, being able to chat and answer everyone's questions, I think is a really important part of building a business, because that's a lot of, what people still come to me for, is like, they just want someone to ask questions to, because they're maybe not confident in making a decision to go one direction. And that's where those workshops were really, really helpful.
Yeah, the camaraderie in the community is amazing, because that you're all in it at the same point. Some people, yes, they have a website, they have a few clients, but no one who's inside of the group is doing $500,000 a year. Like, that's not that. These are people that are looking to build a successful practice. And so some are a little ahead, some are just starting. They don't have a website, they don't have email, they don't have social media. That's okay. We actually teach you how to write your byline and your Instagram. We teach you how to set up, your direct to your website. We teach you even how to set up your schedule, how many hours you need based on the number of clients you're doing. So set up your ideal schedule. We go through the 4 Ds framework to really understand what you want from your business. So it covers all aspects, and we build you up like we do in most things. We start just, okay, let's take these things. Let's figure out who you are, what you want the experience to be, what's your destiny. We go through the niche, the avatar, your ideal client, and then we start to get more strategic. We start to add all of these things in. And then, of course, sky's the limit. You don't have to do all of them, but we give you what you need then to have a successful practice already set up by the 6-month mark. Because now it's plug and play. You have everything you need. So now it's on you to just say, okay, I'm ready. I have everything. It's going to work. Let me now open myself up to the greater world and start to work with my first few clients. Or if you already have your first few clients, how do we now double that? How do we go from 10 clients to 20? Because that's honestly, if you have the systems, it's not difficult to then be able to create your doubles, right? And if you go from 10 to 20 clients, okay, now you can go from 20 to 40. And if you're providing that great experience, which we know that you will do, then you're going to start to just get more and more referrals, which is really the best way to operate, your practice, is to be able to help people. They want to share the word with others, and you continue to grow in that way. So yeah, I'm super excited for this. Again, we only do it once a year, and it's going to be an amazing group. No doubt this year, we'll certainly send out some messages on that about the business mentorship experience. I believe, we'll give the website. I think it's ihp.coach/BME. It should forward over there. If not, we'll be able to get it to you for sure. Kate, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up today's show?
Just how unbelievably excited I am to be here. I am so passionate about the IHP community and every IHP I met, and you and your mission, and being able to bring my experience and my just love of the business world, of the health world, and be able to share it with other people who I know are going to change the world together. That's what I believe. I believe as a community, IHPs can change the world. And to be a part of that is just the most wonderful, wonderful thing. So I'm so thrilled to be part of this. I'm excited to connect with people through the podcast and in the Facebook groups. And, please feel free to reach out to me with, any questions.
I agree. I mean, we've now been doing this as IHP for 5 years, but it feels like we're literally just getting started. So it's absolutely amazing. I look forward to this next chapter coming up here in 2024. It's so great to have you, Kate, as a part of the team. And I know that everybody's going to benefit from all of your knowledge and experience and expertise that you bring. So stay tuned, everybody, for much more from Kate Mills, our new Director of IHP Success and Business Growth. We will be bringing many more podcasts and many more updates coming soon. Thank you all. Have an amazing rest of the day.